Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to the finale of WOR. We are at Austria for, a title battle on our hand. There's three ways it could go tonight. We'll go through the permutations very, very shortly. However, there's no Ryan Jacobs. We've got the wonderful James alongside us for the finale. Ryan was caught in traffic and I had technical issues. What more could go wrong tonight? Maybe it's a sign of things to come to this race tonight, James.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. And hopefully it's not a sign of me possibly getting the sack, I think, of WR with all of these issues going on. But good evening, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is qualifying, of course. Qualifying has literally just begun. Skyver, Wilson, Lucas are currently the top three with 11 minutes to go in this qualifying session. So all to be played for with a three-way battle coming into tonight. Three title contenders, of course, Smokey, Skyver and Wilson, all involved in contention. I believe the permutations are quite simple. If Smokey wins, he will wrap up the championship with that 18-point gap over Skyver. Skyver there on 149. He basically needs to win the race. Smokey needs to finish 7th or below for him to either tie on points or to be crowned champion. Wilson there in third needs honestly a miracle, I think. He needs to win. Smokey either DNFs or no points, and that will be him out of the title running, and Smokey will not be crowned champion as a result. And those are the main permutations, pretty much, as we go into a three-way fight here in Austria.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Let's get down to the action. Let's very, very quickly. And at the moment, we're on PSR Kai, who is, I believe, on a lap at the moment. This is going to be an interesting one for him. Let's see how he can handle. The PSR guys were absolutely incredible last time out. It did go a little bit haywire at one point, especially at the start of the Grand Prix. For those of you who haven't watched, I do recommend going to re-watch that Silverstone Grand Prix. It was absolutely intense at last Friday, the penultimate round of this WR season. But we are in the finale now, and Kai goes fastest of all, but only just from PSR Sav. And this is the wonderful thing about this circuit, isn't it? It is going to be very, very tight because of the circuit it's short.
Yeah, it's so tight. Fabi and Tom are on the same lap times, which we were mentioning just beforehand, before we came live on the stream. Bourbon there's only 200ths of a second ahead of him there in 11. It is so close. Austria does provide this very close qualifying session. It is fantastic to watch, I've got to be honest. I'm up with Kimber, who's coming up the hill now, actually into the pit lane, so he's absolutely juking me now. Coming in the pit lane, the PSL man currently there in 9th position. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody at this moment on a lap. Dara isn't. Expert Allman isn't. Choco's invalidated coming through turn 1, and Stonks, I believe, is 16-4 in the first sector. He's not on one either. So it's Kai out on top, 7 seconds, Skyver in third, halfway through qualifying, halfway still to go. Wilson there in 4th, possibly an outside contender. But Smokey, Gareth, down in 8th position, a 10th and a half off Wilson, a 10th and a half off Skyver. He's got a mountain to climb.
Well, maybe this is a little bit of mind games this early doors from Smokey, but we say it's only 0.2 of a second though off of pole, and he's in 8th. That's how close it is. Well, 0.3 separating the top 10. This is absolutely cracking stuff right now. Stonks pulling out of the way of a Mercedes, I think, coming through that. I wonder if Stonks is going to start a lap or if he flies it into the pits. He goes into a pits. Choco's invalidated. I saw him go very, very wide through turn 1 and lose out, and he's going into the pits as well. But the beauty of this track is you can do a couple of laps on a set of tyres as well. It doesn't burn them out that much. It's not ideal. Some drivers prefer to do it anyway and hope for fuel by a lap, don't they? And ensure they do a second lap, and that's the fastest lap of it for them.
Yeah, definitely so. And FDR Dara, I think, is the perfect example of this. He's coming to the right-hand turn number 10 at the Red Bull Mobile curve. And he's on the run to the line. He's on his third run, actually, on this set of soft compounder tyres. 104.289. PSGL F3 man, now part of PSGL F2, of course. He's there in 9th. Former FVR, for FVR, he's there behind Smokey. So actually not a bad qualifying session at all from him. Smokey's actually backing off coming through the final couple of corners. He's just about to go for another run. But the way he's actually left it, he was so slow coming out of turn number 10. As Skyver now goes to the top of the 103.929. So very quick lap time there by Skyver. We've got Sav on a lap, Wilson on a lap as well. Wilson's definitely on the run up the hill and towards turn number 1. And he's 800 up through the first sector. Smokey coming through the first sector split, just in reference to Wilson, is actually quicker. 300 up on his own personal best. and quickly most about 700ths per second through the first sector. So all to play for as Quantum there goes to 5th, and hopefully he has got a shoot to thrill, maybe a license to kill as well.
Wonderful. Quantum getting up there in a great position, and maybe he will cause a little bit of espionage to the top, or the PSR guys, because they are on fire at the moment. Smokey, let's see what he can do. Coming through Sector 2 now. It's purple in Sector 2. He's a tenth and a half up on his lap time. I think that could have been Lucas throwing himself into P4 for the time being. And McLaren getting out the way of Smokey as he hurtles through the final 2 corners. The championship leader is coming around now down the start finish straight. Can he do anything about Cider? He can't. He can't do anything about Wilson. He's P6.
P6, and honestly, that looks like a really fresh lap, I've got to be honest, from Smokey. He's now 7th because Tom's just gone into 2nd. He is a master around here. I've commentated on many times around here in Austria. He might be a favourite pole position, certainly for my end coming into tonight. I seem to throw the bias every single time in commentary towards Tom, but he's there in 2nd, and he loves this track, so he's there only, 200ths of a second behind Sky, the 2500ths to be exact. Sav is actually purple in the first sector, so the PSR man on the run towards turn number 4 at Schlossgold. He might be the lively outsider, I think, to throw out a bit of a title fight, because remember, the Red Bulls have been qualifying so well this season. It all will come down, I think, to possibly who qualifies the best here in qualifying. If Sav and Wilson qualify beside each other 1 and 2, they are going to help each other. And with a 44-4 in the middle sector, as he has to avoid a McLaren off on the right-hand side, I think that's Jack, who was off coming through the right-hand return number 8. But this has looked like a very, very solid lap from Sav. He's coming down through the final 2 corners, through the Red Bull Mobile curve. This could put him pole position, I think, ahead of Skyver, and I think he will just about do it. He does. 103.877. Wilson now needs to follow suit. He's back in the pit lane for now, but a 104.109. He's going to find 3/10 of a second from somewhere, and that 3/10 of a second could come from a little bit of team tactics if they do qualify that 1-2.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. I think that's Kai throwing himself into... No, sorry, it was Fabi throwing himself into P5. Great return for Fabi. It's good to see him back here as well. Stonks putting himself was P10, but now P11 because of Fabi's time. Still no time for Choco. Choco won not so long ago, and he's got a little bit of problems here because you don't want to start down the back, because if you get caught in these DRS trains, it is absolutely nightmare.
Yeah, it is an absolute nightmare, and certainly from Choco's perspective in 20th, he's there with that set of soft compound tyres. He will be there, I think, to try and threaten the mid-pack, I think, within this race. I mean, he was, of course, on the podium, I think, in Abu Dhabi, if I'm not mistaken, finishing P3 that day. He did a phenomenal job. And the Alfa Romeo, he's had really good blinks, really good areas of form, I think, so far this season. Down there in 20th position, he is going to struggle like anything, and you do not want to be at the back of the field unless you're going to try and do the on-up-me strat, and if it's going to be raining the race, you go on a set of inters instead of everyone going on a full set of wets, and then trying to pull out the gap to around 5-6 seconds by the end of the race, which did happen with Up-me back in F1 21, I think it was. But Choco there in 20th, he is a very capable driver. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this final run. But these are the final runs now. The Williams is just coming out the pit lane. I believe that might be Tootie just coming out the pit lane in the Williams. In fact, it's not. It is Tom coming out the pit lane. And he's actually doing a very, very weird strategy that I've actually just clicked on with. He is having to rev up basically the engine in first, second gear. This is to actually waste fuel away, so it goes onto a minimal fuel load onto his final run. This is smart from Tom.
Pop over to one last time, this championship standings with 2 minutes 43 left of qualifying. There's no major laps happening on qualifying. So this is how it currently stands. Smokey is on 167 points. Sido on 149. And Wilson is on 143. They are the drivers that are in with a chance of this championship tonight. Round 13 was Great Britain. Go back and rewatch that one because that was incredible. Round 14, though, is really just about to kick off. And I think is that Sav that's... No, it's Wilson there in P7. Let's see how it pans out for him. He's going to be the first... Or is he pushing for 2 laps? Is this going to be Wilson a smart move from Wilson because he's got that option as well? But is there going to be too much traffic?
I mean, too much traffic. There's pretty much everyone has fallen out the pit lane. There's only a McLaren, I think, that's actually going to come out. I think that might be Jack just coming out the pit lane, the Parnell Racing driver there in 13th. But Wilson's on the run through turn number 1, now up the hill and towards Remus at turn number 3. And this is now game time for Wilson. He's got to put himself up there with Sav. Sav really needs to find something. Wilson needs to find something. And a 59 in the first sector is very respectful. Through Remus at turn number 3. On the run now down into the second DRS straight. And of course, the third one being, of course, down in towards turn number 4, which is this one here, down in towards Schloss Gold at turn number 4. And Wilson, so far looking good. I've got to be honest, though, the Red Bull really needs to hook up coming through the Pirelli curve at turn number 6. This will decide the lap. This left-hander here will decide the lap for Wilson. Runs wide slightly, and he's going to go wide a little bit. 44.5, he's 9 thousandths down. There's a McLaren off, I think, of Jack just getting out of the way and behind. But Wilson on a very good run, running up the hill now in towards turn number 9 at the Verth curve, and then run in towards turn number 10 at the Red Bull Mobile curve. This has looked a very good lap, but that bit scrappiness coming out of turn number 6, I think has cost him a real chance of a top 2 finish here. Sav to the line, Wilson to the line, only goes 104 flat, but the lap times are now coming in.
Yeah, that's really, really frustrating for him. Fabi's retired from the session. He's at the exit of the pit lane. That's an interesting one. PSR Kimber is in a major world of pain because of, well, being in traffic. He's just about to start his lap time in traffic, and that's not ideal at all. Who can we go on board with? I think Shizou Tom possibly is going to be one to watch out for. 15 seconds left of qualifying. Into turn 3 we go. Tom there is a little bit wide out of the exit, and that could be problematic. Into turn 4 he comes. We've had plenty of controversy here in WOR at turn 4 between championship rivals in the past. It was more at the beginning of the season than the end of the season, though. There's cars off in the background. There's a Haas with no front wing, but Tom is still managing to go through. No, he's not. No, he is not. He's completely spun it, and Tom is going to be absolutely fuming with that. Where is Smokey in all this? Smokey's got to be on a lap time. Sider's not improved yet either.
Yeah, Smokey's already done one. I was on board with him, 104 flat, and in the end, he's only gone, 2 thousandths of a second off Fabi. Skyther's on a lap through the middle sector. He's 600ths down. This is now game time for Skyther. Bit shaky coming out of turn 7 and 8. He's now absolutely on the limit in toward the Verth curve at turn 9 and then through the Red Bull Mobile curve at turn number 10. 2D there in 4th. A big shock and he's invalid. Skyther absolutely butchers turn number 9. He's invalid, so he's not going to go in pole position. Sav's not either. 2D's not either. He's already finished his lap. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else on the lap at this stage. I think Stonks is on the lap, but he's actually spinned off into the wall. Huge crash from Stonks. That was on purpose, by the way, because he invalidated his lap. Axe there has spun as well. That's the end of qualifying. It's Sav out on top. It's Skyther second. Tom there in third. And if you're a Skyther fan right now, jump for joy. 1/2 of the 2 bits of this race. Of course, in qualifying and the race, 1 bit completed. Skyther there in second. Tom there in third. Smokey there in 7th. Wilson there in 9th. Skyther's a 10th of a second ahead of Smokey. A 10th of a second as well ahead of Wilson. I'd be very happy if I was a Skyther fan right now.
Wow, this is incredible stuff. I'm not 100% sure what we witnessed at the end because there were so many drivers, I think, pushing a bit too hard and the cars going flying everywhere. Tom trying to get through it all. And Sider, yeah, you would be happy right now. This is kind of what he needs. He does need Smokey, though, to drop a few more positions. Shizou up into P3. PSR not having the full complement at the top that they had last time either. So we will go down this order one last time. It's Sav from Sider and Tom and 2D. PSR Kai with Fabi, Smokey, Choco, PSR Wilson and VSR Lucas are your top 10. Your next 10 are Kimber, Quantum, Stonks, Jack, Duraga, Axe, Bourbon Boy, LeGriff, Expert Almond and Jensen, who, that is right, he did crash out of the pit lane, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was one of the first actually to come on for a lap time in qualifying. I think he did he did crash coming out of turn number 1 on the inside of the pit lane, which is unfortunate, I think, from Jensen's perspective, because he is one of the F1 Esports Challengers guys. He needs to find the form from somewhere. He's done fantastically well in recent weeks in league racing. Whether or not he can find that form from at the back of the field remains to be seen. Yeah,
time will definitely tell. And on the subject of esports, it's a good time to have a look at the whole Williams setup that they've got, and we've got a lovely little video for this one as well. There we go. That is the Williams Esports Arena, basically, I guess is the best way to describe it. It looks absolutely fantastic. One day I will get to go there and probably spin one of those cars around. I'm not very good. I do the talking better. James, this is going to be absolutely crazy. Championship is on the line. Smokey's had a hand on that championship for a couple of weeks. He's thrown everything. Well, he's been thrown everything, and he's somehow still leading this championship. Is this going to be one race too far of pushing your luck?
I don't think so. I mean, Austria is a track where you have to push your luck anyways. It's such a short track, and it's such obviously with turn number 1 and turn number 3, there's pinch points on the circuit where accidents can and will happen. And if those accidents and Smokey and Wilson get involved in that, Scarver's got a fantastic opportunity to take the title. But of course, coming into tonight, there are 3 drivers that are within title contention. Smokey leading the way. He basically just needs to win. Skyver needs to win, and Smokey needs to finish 7th or below to wrap up the title, or be level on points, I think, if he does finish in 7th. So he actually might need 8th position. And then in Wilson's case, as I'm not sure if I'm lagging.
Nope.
No, I wasn't lagging. You were just coming through completely and utterly. The camera just lagged on my end. Apologies. Was 20 seconds ago, anyways. In terms of what I was saying there quickly, Wilson there in 3rd. He needs a miracle. He needs to win the race. Smokey and Scar, the DNF, all finish out the points, and then it's game over.
Who's winning it?
Smokey.
And chat, who do you think's going to win this one as well? Because Smokey's got that one hand on it, but anything is possible through this. One last reminder, Smokey needs to win the championship, but we're on 3, 4, 5 red lights here at Austria, and away we go straight away. It's a wonderful start from Sav. Everyone else seems very, very subdued. Scyther's under pressure from Tom into turn 1, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Tootie having a go at Kai as well. Fabi and Smokey battling away, but I don't think it's anything going to happen straight away. But Tootie getting caught out there. But those lights were very, very quick. In the background, you got McLaren's fighting away and the 2 Ferrari and Alfa Romeo battling away. But there's someone around. Is that Smokey? Smokey's around, and the championship leader is down to 9th place.
Yeah, I did mention about a pinch point, complete pinch point into turn number 3. Kai broke on the inside line. Here's Fabi going around the outside in the meantime as well. And Smokey actually, he ran into the back of his own teammate, which is the first thing you do not want to be doing in a title fight. But he's now on the back foot behind Fabi, behind Kai. And look at Wilson. He's in 6th position. Smokey at the minute. Skyver there being in 2nd. It's not enough to win up the title, but Skyver is doing everything on this first lap to try and do as Smokey nearly has a spin coming out there through turn number 8. But at the end of towards lap 1, Sav leads the way. Skyver in 2nd, Tom in 3rd. I'm not sure what Sav hadn't really done that Red Bull, by the way, but oh my word, what a start he had off the line. Gained 6/10 of a second just off flagfall.
Red Bull doesn't give you wings. They give you incredibly quick starts by the looks of things. It's all single file as they head down into turn 1 for the 2nd time tonight. Smokey all over the back of his teammate. It's still in his hands. He didn't get damaged. He didn't get completely wiped out at turn 1 on the first lap. But that pinch point is exactly correct for you. He's trying to have a look up the inside, but Lucas is all over the back of him as well.
Kimber's just gone into the back of Quantum in behind this as well and threading through the Isle of Needle. Dara's parting the Red Sea, the Irishman. Threads through 3 of them. Yes, one of them was ghosted, but Dara Thuni's into 11th, and that is the PSF2 man taking full advantage of that mistake, of that little pinch point up to turn number 3 again. Quantum there 12, Jack in 13, Stonks in 14, and Dara's just carved the eye like a knife through butter. Absolutely brilliant.
Jack just clipping the back end of Quantum as well. This is crazy stuff. If you've seen it, well, I did quickly go on board, and everyone is on a set of hard compound tyres to start this race. Scyther struggling to keep up with Sav at the moment, but Tom hasn't got an answer either. Choco up into 4th place. He's up 4 places. That's an incredible start for him. Tootie and Wilson battling away through this as well. There's so much action going on, but I suppose it would be very, very amiss of me not to go on board with a battle for P8 with the championship leader in P9 all over the back of his teammate.
Yeah, definitely so. And the GOAT of Xbox, by the way, Aldous Lawrence, is there in the chat saying Smokey was P7, but then someone decided to straight line him into turn number 9. That's exactly what happened. And Smokey is level on points at this stage. He's gaining no points at this stage. Skyler 18 points, Wilson to 24. That is the update, the gap as it stands. Skyler is getting 18 points. Smokey is only getting 2. The gap is 18 points. Well, he's only 2 points off the title. So if Skyler can get past Sab, that title is his, as Wilson's right on the back of Tootie. Coming to the left-hander of turn number 6 at Pirelli curve, down toward the Verth curve at turn 7 and 8. And Tootie just gets caught on the inside curve, might let Wilson in here at this stage. Kai there in 7th, Fabi there in 8th, doing a good job. Everyone has been very clean, I've got to say. Not the usual hoo-ha like you normally have around here in Austria, where everyone just goes hell for leather and there's loads of front wing damage at the end of lap 1. Everyone has been very, very clean and concise. And with these guys now being promoted, of course, to F1 Esports, then they have got to really put themselves out there for everyone to see.
This is absolutely intense at the moment. Smokey all over the back. I don't think there's going to be anything from Wilson's side of view. Again, Smokey has a look up the inside of Fabi, just reminding his teammate that he's there. Well, they're teammates, but they're not teammates really. So look at it from a Smokey point of view. He's a little bit slower out the exit of turn 3 and has to stay behind again. But this is still very much in Smokey's hands. All he needs to do is, well, keep ahead at the moment. Just keep calm. There is so many more laps in this Grand Prix. 4 of 36. It happens all the time where we see drivers think they're out of it at the beginning of the race, but at the end, something mental happens and they're back into the points.
Yeah, and somebody spins in behind, for example, and then there's a safety car out on track that groups the field whole back together, and everyone's back within some contention in the same equal form. Scar the new fastest lap race, Kai now new fastest lap the race as well. Axe is on the back of Kimber further down the field. Kimber, of course, has been doing quite well, I've got to be honest, this season. PSR man, I think, was in the top 10 at one point this season. He's there in 15th at the minute. Axe is all over the back of him. I think he's going to be one of the first overtakes that we could see, with about 60% of VRS here running up the hill in towards turn number 4. Jack's right on the back of Quantum there as well, but in the end, everyone's running a boring old DRS train at this stage here in Austria. I haven't missed Austria, to be honest, on this commentary. LeGriff, though, and Bourbon are side by side running down the straight. Bourbon had a poor exit, I think. LeGriff was side by side, but the Frenchman for the NRX team is there in 18th and hanging on for Grim Life on the back of Bourbon. And Jensen there down in 20th. He had, of course, the worst possible qualifying session. Crash coming out the pit lane. He's now been left behind on this DRS train. Jensen, honestly, needs a safety car, I think, at this point, just to even get back into contention.
Yeah, really, really difficult to understand why Jensen's so far off the pace. Such a normally such a solid competitor, struggling away at the moment, but he is slowly catching it back in to this. PSR Kai again, the fastest lap of the race. He's got some pace about him tonight. He's down 2 places from where he started, but he's starting to bring it all back together now. Wilson, though, still all over the back of Tootie, but Smokey's not as close as he has been to Fabi. Maybe he's trying to save a little bit of ERS.
Yeah, I mean, Fabi ahead of him has actually got nearly double the amount of ERS compared to Smokey. Wilson's on the back of Tootie. He visibly down the straight in towards turn number 4 is looking quicker, even without DRS and ERS on the back of Tootie. So Wilson, not sure what the Red Bulls are running at this stage, but they're running much more lower wings, I think, compared to Tootie. Might only be 1 or 2 difference, but that is making the difference at this stage from Wilson's perspective. Smokey there in 9th. There is going to be a split happening, and unfortunately, it's going to be Fabi, I think, that's going to cause the split. He needs to use that ERS quickly, as Lucas has had a moment there coming out of turn number 8. Let's Dara through, and he's into 10th. The VSL man down a position after a slight run, I think, on the curb through 7 and 8. But yeah, Fabi, I think that split is going to happen. And if it does, Fabi, Smokey, and the rest of the field and behind are in trouble. And if Fabi and Smokey have to run together by themselves and they're all in the second up pace, that might be Smokey's championship over.
That might very well be as well, especially with Dara and Lucas squabbling away. Here comes Lucas on Dara. He's gone He's gone the inside of turn 2 and squeezed through that Haas. That was a brilliant move, but he's gone a bit too deep. And Dara's lost the back end a little bit as well. So this is possibly perfect for Smokey, so he can actually get some momentum into an attack. But around the outside, Quantum's trying to have a look at the Haas, and the back end's tap, and the Ferrari struggled, and Jack goes through, and there is a little bit of controversy there.
Yeah, a little bit of controversy. There was a slight lag spike about a couple of seconds before, so maybe a little bit of desync potentially between them both. FER Dara there up to 11th, Jack there in 12th. Quantum there in 13th, and actually Quantum is round. Quantum is round, and that is Stonks who's been involved in the incident as well. So the Aston Martin and the Red Bull, and the Ferrari, sorry, is round. Quantum round. Axe is into the pit lane, I believe, as well. He's got damage, I think, on the right side. So he is into the pit lane early. Quantum is going to be, Stonks is going to be in. He's got front wing damage on the left side end plate for sure. But Quantum continues on. And all of that, I don't know what really happened there. I didn't really have a good camera angle on that. But what happened there was, I think Quantum maybe spun, and then Stonks was just there, wrong place, wrong time, and the ghosting system failed.
Yeah, that was very, very... Well, the camera angle was terrible, looking at it from broadcast as you were looking into turn 7, and he caught just the back end of it. But Smokey's down to 8% ERS, 40% to Fabi. Smokey is desperate to get through. And looking in the chat, Otis is saying, don't burn ERS. Well, it's a bit late for that.
It is a bit late for that. And 2D as well. Look at the split now happening between 4th and 5th. 2D now causes the split. Front 4 away, more than a second clear. And 2D, Wilson, Kai, Fabry, Smokey have all got to catch up as a result. Now, it might not happen. If they drop out of a second, they're in deep trouble. They are in real deep trouble. Wilson and Smokey's chances, certainly in terms of championship. And Skyver, they're in second. Qualifying is so important around here at Austria, and it's more important when there's a championship fight on, and Skyver has managed this race so well so far. He's there in second. I don't want to curse him whatsoever. He's doing the best of the title contenders at this stage, and as it stands, with Smokey there being behind Fabi still, and a split now happening in front, as that Jack has gone for the roof on Dara run up the hill and towards turn number 2. There's also side-by-side as well, with Bourbon to the inside on, and Kimber, and the Alpha Romeo there of the Griff absolutely spinning, and that is Dara round coming out of turn number 3. I think he's retired out on track, which is disappointing from Dara. He retires out on track, leaves the session, and that is him round coming out of turn number 3.
That is... Has he retired on crash, or is he actually crashed? Yeah. That... Because his car didn't look like it was moving. That's very, very odd. But such a shame for Dara. He looked quite strong as well. That's a shame for the Haas car. But things haven't gone his way. Jack's dropped down the order a little bit as well. 2D in P5. Thankfully, it didn't cause a safety car, because that would have cost... well, I don't know. Would that have cost Sider a chance at the championship?
No. It's too early in the race, I think. Even if they want to try and change an actually Skyler, I think is going to go for the move for the lead here. He's on the back of Sav. This is going to be very easy indeed to the inside line. Run up the hill and towards turn number 3 at Remus. And Skyler now is in championship winning position as it stands on that 10 out of 36. Don't want to put any more pressure on him than he's normally under at this stage. But Skyler leading the way from Sav in second. Tom there in third. But I think out of all of these three out in front, Tom is the one to watch. He's there in third, 94% of ERS. Sav's on 82, Skyler's on 75 and had to use a bit up to try and get the ERS. So Tom is doing brilliantly at this stage. Choco even better. He's on 100% battery. So everyone's saving up their battery. Listening to Otis Lawrence there in the chat, I think you're completely right. You need to save up the battery. And Skyler now actually, he looks quick. Now he's in clear air. He looks quick. Could he make a break for glory this early on?
Well, this is what... Well, maybe Cyver's done this on purpose. Maybe this is purposely done from Cyver to go for it and just pull away. Sav is struggling, it looks like, a little bit, because Tom's caught back up with him as well. Look at that, 0.3 of a second. Tom is really pushing. Maybe he's using a little bit of that ERS to get himself into the swing of things. He's looking like a dark horse through this as well. 2D struggling. Choco, well, this is incredible by Choco to keep all that ARS up to speed like he has done. Maybe he's one to watch as well.
Yeah, and he's just made a mistake, actually, in towards turn number 3. Very, very deep on the brakes. He lost a little bit of time. He's still within contention. Wilson is looking on the back of 2D all of a sudden. I'm not sure if 2D may be caught on the inside curb there through turn number 3 and just cost the time. There was a spinner further down, and that is Stonks round again. Kimber and the Griff are side by side running down the straight. And actually, I think the Griff, I'm not sure if he's got, Kimber, I'm not sure if he's got damage. He's struggling a little bit, really snapping all over the place, actually, the PSR man in 14th. He's lost 2 positions for the price of 1. And with Quantum and Jack, Expert Ullman further down the field, Jensen all of a sudden is into 13th. He's on the fringe of the points at this stage. He's got to catch back up to the likes of Lucas, but out in front, Scarver leading the way, 6th per second. Now he's up the pace. This is literally now him saying to Sav, well, catch me if you can. If you're quick enough, then get on the back of me. If not, I'm just going to leave you behind.
Yeah, a third of the way through the race pretty much. Tootie struggling overall to keep pace with the guys ahead. He's still within that second, but PSR Wilson's all over the back of him. Is he going to dart up the inside to turn 3? He's definitely gone for it. It's side by side at the moment. He's been very, very generous for the room he's given Tootie, and Tootie is now struggling. Straight line speed has got to be Wilson's friend here, but Tootie is keeping it at the moment. Into turn 4 they go. Wilson's keeping it up the inside. Is he going to give him as much room as he gave before? He's pushing the Alpine onto the grass, but Wilson up into P5, and just behind, Kai is attacking Tootie, but there's just no way through the Alpine, and now Wilson has been set free.
Yeah, Wilson has been set free, and Tootie all of a sudden, I'm not sure if he's gone too hard too early on his tyres. Kai is all over the back of him. The PSR man now trying to come into contention for this race win. He needs to get past Tootie. Tootie now all of a sudden is struggling. Kai's just caught on the inside curb though, so that brings that matter to the end for now. But that was cold and calculated, I've got to say, by Wilson. He's up there into 5th, ahead of Tootie. Tootie was the one struggling in that pack. He was the one that I mentioned could break the split, basically, in the train. I thought if they were still side-by-side coming through turn number 6, there's a spinner, and that's Jack Brand, I think, further down the field. Here comes Kai, actually, on the back of Tootie. Speaking of which, in towards turn number 3 at Remus. Dives it to the inside line. Wilson makes a slight mistake as well. Could have had 2 for 1 if he wanted to, but Kai on the back of Tootie. Now side by side with him with the purple first sector. Breezes past Tootie if he's not even there. The VSL man now down into 7th. The PSL man through and he's into 6th. And Fabi and Smokey, at this moment in time, can't catch up.
No, they're struggling a little bit, aren't they? They're just to come through. But this could help Smokey in the long run. I'm pretty certain he's faster than both Fabi and Tootie. So that could leave him into P7 through all this. That could be how it all pans out. And, 7th is essentially all Smokey needs, especially as things stand. So, yeah, I mean, if you're Smokey, do you just go for the position you know you need?
Well, if I was Smokey, first and foremost, I'd be getting past Fabi right now because he is struggling behind the PS man, and the PS man actually runs right at turn number 1. This might be Smokey's chance to get past Fabi ahead of him. But in the end, he's having to conserve that ERS, and actually there's a change to the leader. Sav attacks Skyther in towards turn number 3. That was very unexpected, actually, from my end. Skyther on the back of Sav running in towards turn number 4. He's used up all of that ERS as Sav, 66%. Actually, he's now the one trying to break out Skyther in terms of this. This is absolutely fascinating in terms of tactility out on track. Not sure if even tactility is actually a word, but Sav out on top from Skyther in 2nd. Tom there in 3rd. Stonks has retired from the session. That's actually a crash out of turn number 3, and that is a VSE. VSC deployed out on track, could get deployed to full safety car. So Stonks crashing out at turn number 3, and that is a full safety car. That's a full safety car, and that 14 out of 36. This has just blown the race wide open.
Controversy prevails. Sav goes to the inside, into the pits. Everyone's going to follow suit, I think. And this just adds a little bit more spice to this. Lap 14 of 36, sorry. And, lap 15 now of 36. And Scyther, Sav, they're all going to throw on a set of mediums. We've had one safety car. Does that mean we're going to have another? Tom's gone on to a set of softs.
Oh, no. That's the game. That's a game glitch, I think, potentially from Tom. I don't think he selected those tyres. Quantum, by the way, is the one staying out. He's actually going to be in 3rd position on exit of turn number 1. They're going to pick up under the safety car, but Tom set us off compound tyres. Expert Ullman's also in there. He hasn't came in the pit lane just yet, and he is actually, I think, left the session, and that is going to be a nightmare for everyone in behind. Choco, Kai, Wilson, they've got to be aware because they do not want to be picking up 5-second penalties, and because of that AI being so slow, Expert Ullman is now going to cause absolute chaos. But Tom, on that set of softs, has to be a glitch from my end. I know he's done that before, and he's blamed it on the game. Has to be the game glitch, or it could be potentially a stroke of genius, but either way, he's done for.
Have we just completely glossed over the fact that Smokey's had to double stack, and he's now 2 places behind Fabi, and he's in 13th place? Scyther's winning the championship as things stand. I'm not saying they're going to finish like this because Quantum and Expert Almond have to pit. We've got Tom that also is likely having to pit at some stage. We've got Choco and Expert Almond inside each other through this safety car. So I'm not sure really what's going on. Pretty certain it's better be a PG stream. But yeah, at this present moment in time, Smokey is not winning the championship.
Pearson, and Quantum is into the pit lane. Okay, so Quantum is into the pits. Expert Allman's AI is going to stay out there, and that is going to cause even more chaos now because he's going to be in fourth position and ahead of the rest of the field. So could cause a little bit of issues in terms of ghosting. Axe is also in the pit lane further down. He was the one obviously that came in, I think, as a result of that damage. So he's onto maybe onto a set of hard compound tyres towards the end of the race. But Tom there in third. If he plays it smart, he does wear his tyres out very, very thinly. He's a very good tyre wear saver. So if Tom can manage those set of softs, honestly, you'll probably hate me in the comment section for saying this. I could actually see him make it to the end of the race. Whether or not he's in the top 10 by the end of that race remains to be seen. But he is very good on his tyres. I wouldn't count him out.
Definitely not counting Tom out yet. And we've also got the possibility of another safety car. There's, possibilities. It's not over yet, but wow. Scyther in second place. I'm sure he'll want to win the race, but he's got a chance of winning the title from that position. Wilson in seventh. It's all the way out of things at the moment. Time will definitely tell, and this safety car will definitely help tyre wear saving. That's why the mediums are probably the best tyres to be on, but the safety car is in this lap. Expert Almond though, fourth place. It's a very interesting, but it looks like he has AI'd. He's paused, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on. But
he's rejoined. It's fine.
Sav and Scyther then. Let's see what they can do from a safety car restart. Tom, I think, has a part to play in this championship with those soft tyres. He's going to be a menace to these guys, but when does Sav decide to go? Let's look at it from his point of view and look behind at the rest of the grid. He's heating those tyres up and he's gone, but I don't think he's left many people for dead there. Choco on the inside having a look, but actually I think, is he going to get through? Almond, he is. He's up the inside into turn one, and Almond really struggling for pace. Here comes Kai as well, straight past the AlphaTauri and down 2 places in a space of a corner for not going into the pits, and it could be PSR Wilson up the inside as well. Tom past Scyther. We were expecting that for the with the soft tyres for Tom, but Wilson making it past as well. Surely not Tudi as well. This is going to be nuts if Tudi can get through. And Expert Almond dropping down the field. This is nuts.
This is honestly nuts. And yeah, Tudi is 3 on Ullman, and Ullman's going to come under pressure from Fabi, from Lucas. Smokey, by the way, got ahead of the Griff. Bourbon also got ahead of the Griff there as well. Caterpillar there saying in the chat, no way have I just heard that Sox could get 22 laps. I'm believing in Tom. Believe in him. He is a very good tyre wear saver. Fabi's on the back of Ullman. On the back now, running down the straight in towards turn number 9. But this is now going to cause chaos. And all of this now, Ullman, if he makes a mistake through turn number 10, his tyres are going to come back into the path of Fabi. Fabi's going to have to go for the move now in towards turn number 1, whether he likes it or not. Smokey is going to be more than a second behind. Smokey's in real trouble here. Ullman there in 8th. Fabi there in 9th. Gets a good run out of turn number 1, but look at the gap. It's 7/10 of a second. If that gap drops behind a second, and Fabi there is on the back as Tom goes for the race lead on Sav and uphill and towards turn number 3. Fabi has to get this done on the brakes in towards turn number 3. And I think he might just, and he does. Very nicely done by Fabi. Lets in Lucas as well. And Smokey is not there to capitalise. Smokey is now behind Ullman. This is big trouble for Smokey.
Especially when it's the technical part of the track where Almond will be much, much slower than the rest of the grid as well. Smokey desperate for it. He's gone up the inside. Smokey wasn't hanging around.
Yeah, had to go for that move. And whether he liked it or not, I think he would have had to put himself into a car width where he would have been endangering other drivers potentially as well if there was a bit of contact. Bourbon's on the back of Ullman there as well. Ullman, unfortunately, is dropping like a crocodile in a swamp, I think, at this stage. He's just dropping so far down the field. The AlphaTauri there in 11th, doing a good job. His AI should have put them in, though, I think, and that would have been better, I think, from his perspective, if that was the case. But we are halfway through in WOR. Really hope you're enjoying it. Tom out on top from Sav there in 2nd, Skyver in 3rd, Choco 4th, Kai there in 5th, then Wilson, Tudi, Fabi, Lucas, Smokey, with perhaps a position change with Bourbon moving up into 11th here as well to the inside line. At turn number 3 goes the PSR man, the head of comms here in WOR, and the commentator. Well, I'll tell you what, brilliant move from Bourbon. He's doing his in for 11th. Of course, he is an F1 Esports Challengers man as well. The Griff there on the back of Ullman, and Ullman again is dropping further down the field. We've got Kimber, Jensen, Jack, Quantum, and Axon. There's contact coming through turn number 3. That's Kimber trying to get through on the inside of the Griff. Ullman there, absolutely forced out of it. Jensen's now going to look to the outside line at turn number 6. But in the end, the McLaren of Kimber tries to loop it to the inside line, gets caught on the inside curb. That's not working.
Wow, how close was that? PR Jack getting through Almond as well. And Almond now dropped to the back of the grid. But now with Axe getting through as well. And that's not ideal for Expert Almond and surely into the pits.
And Axe has just gone for a spin. Sorry to cut you off there. He's gone through turn number 9.
Not ideal for him either, but Tom unable to pull away from Sav and Cider, and while he might be on those softer and quicker compound of tyres, really struggling with Sav, desperate to get through. Smokey back into the points, into P10 for the PSR man, and he's doing a good job at the moment. With the way things stand, he will be the champion, I believe. It's very, very difficult to figure everything out. That's only if Tom can make it to the end of the Grand Prix. There's still that to play for. But if you're Smokey, I mean, do you start being a bit more, I don't want to say aggressive, but throwing it up the inside and being a little bit more racy now?
I think to try and put a buffer, yeah, he's got to, I think. But then again, it's Smokey. He's got an 18-point gap. As it stands, you're totally right. Skyler there is getting 15 points right now. Smokey's only getting 1. It's enough. But I think he wants more of a buffer, and I ideally hope that Lucas and Fabi can fight ahead of him, and then he can just wipe both of them behind him, and that'll be extra points gained, and that'll create that bit of a buffer. And speaking of a buffer, Sav is on the back of Tom, and Tom, I don't know why people were thinking that the softs might not get 21 laps. This is why, because Sav now is right on the back of Tom, towards the inside line, and Skyler's actually going to make it 3 wide potentially in towards turn number 3. He was looking to the inside line there, but actually this could be well judged as Kai and Wilson are side by side coming out of turn number 3 at Remus as well. But Sam running down the straight leads the way. Tom and Skyler are now side by side, and Skyler getting more points. This is perfect from Skyler's perspective. Not so perfect if you're a Smokey fan there down in 10th position. Lucas and Fabi are nearly side by side in towards turn number 3 as well. But that is a move for Skyler. Throonies into second. Tom Softs already seeming to be going off. Wilson now up to 5th as well ahead of Kai. Beautifully judged. And Smokey now back in P10 and back in the doldrums.
Wow. This is definitely the Australian Grand Prix on a point scale that we want to see, because it is continually changing, and this is going to be absolutely nuts. Rev has made an incredible point in the chat, to be fair. Smokey might only need to, well, it's all down to staying within the track limits, and in the background, Choco and Tom getting very, very close together, and there goes Choco past Tom. Not ideal, and Smokey, will he get an idea on to Lucas? He does not. Back up to Choco. Choco's past. The softs already gone out.
Yeah, and Tom made a mistake in towards turn number 1, which forced Choco to go to the inside line, run up the hill towards turn 2 and 3. Lucas and Fabi. Again, Lucas is looking on the back of Fabi. There is something going to happen between these guys. I don't know what's going to happen. There is something going to happen between these guys, and I hope it's for the best for Smokey, because as it stands, Skyler now is 17 points ahead of him out on track. Skyler gets past Sav, it's title contention once again for Skyler, and he...
I feel like I've lost James, unfortunately, at this present moment in time.
He's got to...
I just there was a little bit of lag, so I couldn't hear. No, nothing was coming through, unfortunately. Out of the race is Quantum, though, in the pits. As Tom being passed by Wilson as well. These softs are really not working for Tom anymore. This is a struggle.
Yeah, this is a struggle. Apologies about that. I think it was on my end more than anything else. Sav leads the way. Scarter there in second, Choco there in third. Just to finish off the point that I was actually... Tom there now dropping like a stone through the field. Smokey could end up finishing 7th. People are making that good point. Avatar there in the chat saying he could finish P7. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but as it stands, 17 points is the gap between Skyler and Smokey. Skyler, all he needs is to pass Sav and take the championship win. Smokey's got to have ifs and maybes coming his way with Fabi, Lucas, and Tootie, Fabi, and Lucas all beginning to drop off in terms of their mediums. He's got to be on much fresher mediums, and I doubt that considering he's losing time now to Lucas.
Yeah, this is interesting. Smokey's just, maybe he's just biding his time a little bit. There's still plenty of racing to go. A third left, to be precise, pretty much. But Tom already under pressure from Kai. Tom is in a world of pain. He's got to go on to a set. But is he? These softs, I mean, obviously didn't help with, if it was the game, put him onto a set of softs. But he's really struggling right now, and Tootie's going to get through him as well. But Fabi nearly out of the DRS. I think Tom might actually save Fabi. Here goes Tootie through up the inside into turn 4, and wow, this is mental.
It is mental indeed. Smokey's on the back of Lucas as well. Tom, I think Dazza has put a very good point in. I was about to say that as well when Gareth was coming back to me. I've got a feeling the game selected old softs because they barely lasted 2 or 3 laps. Yeah, I think he's on a used set of tyres. And judging by that, look at the blistering that's now coming on the front right. That front right was very fresh a lap ago. I'm looking at the back left tyre, and Tom is on used set of softs. You can tell by the blistering going through like the rim of the tyre. You can tell he's on a used set of softs. He is dropping down the field. It's unfortunate for him. If he was on a fresh set of softs, he would have been put up more of a fight. But speaking of a fight, here comes Lucas on the back of Fabi. Fabi now passing Tom as well. This is all about to get very interesting between these guys. And there goes Lucas, diving it to the inside line of Tom and towards turn number 3. And Tom in the end can't defend. Smokey's through as well. It is Tom hunting now at this stage. Tom is going to be outside of the top 10. He may as well come in, retire the car out of the race because he's going to be getting nothing unless there's a safety car in the next 2 laps. He needs a miracle, quite literally, to get back into this. But Smokey through, Lucas through, Fabi through. Perfect from Smokey's perspective. Scarver, all he needs still is to pass Sav.
Yeah, it's still in his hands. But Tootie and Fabi nearly out of the DRS range as the cars are both ahead of them both. And that won't help Smokey at all. And around goes Tom. And that is not ideal for him at all. To add to your point is how many sets of softs did Tom use for the qualifying? Because if he used too many, that could be why there's been issues for him and putting on a set there. But let's go back up to the leaders. It's Sav from Scyther from Choco. We're lap 26 of 36, 10 and a half laps of racing remaining. PSR Wilson up into P4. A miracle could still happen for him, especially with Choco and a penalty as well. But what have I missed there?
Sav has just gone deep in towards turn number 3, and there goes Skyver through, and Choco's going to be following through as well. This is going to be determining the championship potentially. Skyver now through. Sav, a very much unforced error, coming out of turn number 3. Choco nearly goes for a spin, coming out of turn number 4 as well. It's Schlossgold, but Sav there through, down into second. Skyver takes full advantage, goes into the race lead. Was that tactical, or was that a little bit deep? I thought it was the latter.
Maybe Sav wants to sit and save. Let's have a look at his ERS. He's still... Well, actually, he's weaker than Scyther right now on ERS. So Scyther has a chance to pull away. Wilson is looking at Choco as well. But through all this, Smokey still can't do anything about Lucas. At the moment, on lap 26 of 36, Scyther's a champion.
Scyther is a champion as it stands. 27 out of 36. What a race for Ryan Jacobs to miss, I've got to be honest. Scyther there leading the way from Sav in second. Choco there in third. Wilson there in fourth. Fantastic race this. It is tactically one of the best races I think I've seen here in WOR on console tier 1 since I've been doing it, I think 3 or 4 times this season. Smokey needs to get Lucas, I think. This is going to be his next task. He needs to get Lucas. Then he needs to get Fabi. He's living above hope, I think, for Fabi and Lucas to drop off in terms of their tyres. If their tyres do not drop off and Smokey's does, oh my word, he nearly went in the back of Lucas coming through turn number 6. Oh, that was close from Smokey. Nearly had a moment there. Lucas went wide coming through turn number 6. Nearly went in the back of him. Right the living daylights out of me. But Smokey there in 9th. It's putting him on the back foot. If Fabi and Lucas save their tyres, Smokey's not going to be getting through. He's not winning the championship. But
Sav has still got a part to play in this as well. And Choco's penalty, are they going to be close enough? has gone board with Lucas because Smokey struggling. Lucas struggling a little bit, and Smokey is looking to make a move, but the DRS flap is open on the Alpine ahead of him. He's still got enough speed to the outside of turn 2, to the inside to turn 3. This could be the moment Smokey has, and it is. He's passed Lucas and up into P8. But Lucas is going to have a go back as they come down this back straight into turn 4. I don't think it's going to be enough for Lucas. And Smokey, P8 for now.
He is P8 for now, but Smokey through on Lucas. P8 and P9. Kimber's not entirely out of this fight as well. He's there in 10th position, doing a great job. Choco, remember, has got that 3-second penalty. Smokey gets within 3 seconds of Choco, then it all changes. And he's there now behind Fabi. Quantum's left the session. He's already out the race. Don't worry about him further down. But Skyler doing everything in his power to lead the race. Sav, I think, that was tactical. I think that little bit of a late break into turn number 3. He does now not want to lead this race. It's bringing him a perfect position with Wilson as well. Wilson's right on the back of Choco through turn number 1. Choco's tyres are looking a little bit gone. And Wilson now, all of a sudden, on the power running up the hill and towards turn number 3. He hasn't got the straight line speed as what we might have thought, but in the end, Wilson on the back of the Alfa Romeo, and at this stage, as this collision, Kimber and Lucas.
Yeah, that was big, and that's given Smokey a little bit of a reprieve, I guess is the best way to describe it. Bolton Boy letting Jack through in the background as well, but that for Smokey, Kimber being just outside. Kimber throwing it late up there and maybe a little bit aggressive into Lucas could cause Smokey a bit of problem, because Smokey might think he might do something similar. What goes through Smokey's mindset? Does this force Fabi into Smokey making a move on Fabi, or does this force Smokey just to go, right, okay, Kimber, go past and take someone else out?
Well, if I was Smokey at this stage, I'd personally save a little bit more ERS. He's on 19% of ERS. Fabi's on 42%, so he's got double the amount of ERS. Tootie has got more ahead as well, 30%, and he's using that up now in towards turn number 3. This is fascinating in terms of the ERS, because Smokey has got less ERS compared to Fabi, and look at the way Fabi pulled away on Smokey. Smokey doesn't want anything to do with, as it stands, he's not winning the championship. He needs to get past Fabi. It won't be enough. He needs 6th position. He needs Tootie.
This is nuts. 2D 1.1 seconds away from Kai as well. He's gone bored with this little scrap, because really it's a scrap for the lead of this race. Sider's not been able to pull away from Sav. Choco's still in the middle of it all. But if 2D doesn't keep up with them, that 3-second penalty that Choco's got is going to mean absolutely diddly squat to Smokey.
It will. It will. And actually, Choco at the minute, I'm checking the gap to the leader timings. Choco to Smokey, 2.6 seconds. So as it stands, he'll be 7th. He only needs to get past. If Choco was there and 3 seconds ahead of him, this is going to be absolutely fascinating, regardless of how this is going to go to the end of the race. If Choco is more than 3 seconds ahead of Smokey by the end of the race, Smokey's getting 7th. If Smokey doesn't get past Fabi, he will not win the championship. So he needs to be forced to go for himself. This is game time now for the potential champion. Smokey needs Fabi, needs Tootie just to give him a buffer. But if Tootie's now dropping in terms of the pace, that gap is always going to grow. As now, Fabi going to go for the attack on Tootie in towards turn number 4, and also with Wilson as well on Kai. Side by side coming out of turn number 4, and now through turn number 6. They're side by side. Now running up the straight in towards turn 6. But Wilson's through and he's into 4. So Wilson now ahead of Kai. Smokey there in 8th. Tootie now behind Fabi. And now, all of a sudden, the gap between Choco and Smokey, nigh on 3 seconds. So this is game time for Smokey. He needs this.
Well, where is the band Europe and the song Final Countdown when you need it? Because they're definitely in the throes. Lap 31 of 36. Fabi 1 second behind Kai. Tootie really struggling, but I can see Smokey getting past. And if that happens, that will be Smokey's championship back, especially with all things said and done. Here comes Smokey right on the back end of the Alpine. He's going around the outside of turn 2. He's going to be the inside of turn 3. That's Smokey into P7, surely. And that's surely... Oh, goodness. And the switchback was very, very nearly on for Tootie. But very, very close. And Smokey's going to go for it.
Yeah, Fabi had a mistake coming out of turn number 3. A big squirm on the exit of the corner. Smokey's now doing his into 6. That's enough at this stage. So Smokey, all of a sudden, the fortunes change within a lap, and he doesn't need Choco. Was Expert Ullman's retired in the pit lane. I thought we were going to get some late excitement there with a crash coming through the final corner, but in the end, not. Smokey now, he's off Choco off, what, 2.6, 2.7 seconds roughly. It's enough at the minute. He's got past Fabi, he's got past Duty. He's doing enough now to win the championship, and fortunes can change literally within a lap. Fortunes can still change. Smokey picks up a 3-second penalty, then it's wide open again.
Don't commentate a curse, Smokey, or otherwise he would probably never speak to you again. Smokey, though, up into P6, 1.3 seconds behind the leaders. Cider is doing everything he can, and there's an AlphaTauri. I believe that is Expert Almonds. But, yeah, Cider doing everything he can, but I don't think it's going to be enough, especially with Smokey where he is. Wow. Lap 33 of 36, 3.5 laps remaining. It's still anything going. Well, anything can happen. It's enough for Smokey to win the championship at the moment, but it's going to be a lot tighter than he would have wanted.
Yeah, Archer's asking in the chat, is 6th enough? In terms of my math skills, I think it's enough. Skyler's on 25 in the minute. Smokey at the minute is on 8, so it'll be 17 points. It's a gap of 18 at the minute. So, yes, by 1 point, Smokey would be champion. However, if, for example, somebody ahead picks up a 3-second penalty and Kai, for example, does that and Smokey then gets 5th, then it'll be further in Smokey's advantage compared to Skyler. But Skyler has done everything right in this race. He has not put a foot wrong. Everything is happening in behind, which is what's costing him the title. And that is uncontrollable.
Yeah, it will be a shame for Cider, but well, you would feel for both drivers. Smokey's actually dropping away from this at the moment. He's pulling away from his teammate, but he's dropping away from the front 5. Kai's actually dropping away as well. This could be getting even more interesting. Choco probably is going to keep on to a top 5 finish as things stand, but Wilson is all over the back of him as well. But Smokey, yeah, pick up a 3-second time penalty and he's in trouble. But there's only 2 and a bit laps for him just to race between the lines.
Yeah, and it's looking good now, I've got to be honest, from Smokey. Fabi's got more ERS than him, and that is the only concern, I think, at this stage. Fabi looks like he's gone through his tyres quite quickly. There was Lucas, I think, is Bourbon has spun, coming to the right-hander at turn number 7 and 8. I'm not sure if he's got off his front wing. He hasn't. He's gone in the gravel, luckily. Don't think there would have been a safety car anyways, given how we are onto the penultimate lap of the race. Skyler made a mistake there. First mistake I think I've seen all race from Skyler. Slight mistake out of turn number 1. This is now for the race victory. He doesn't care, I think, of the championship. And Sav, I thought he was going to go to the inside line at turn number 3. These guys are very predictable indeed. But Sav on the back of Skyler looks to try and get him down the straight now in towards turn number 4. This is now game time for Sav. If he wants this race win, he's going to have to go the hard way. Maybe to the inside line, dummy towards turn number 4. But in the end, can't get the job done. Skyler's done absolutely everything right at this stage. Smokey, though, is under pressure from Fabi. Smokey needs to save ERS. Fabi's got 25%, and if he is 4 tenths off him, coming out of turn number 1, Fabi's there in towards turn number 3 and side by side with him.
Oh, Smokey, this is very, very... I don't know who to go on board with. Do we stay on board with Sav, or do we go on board with Smokey? I think it's got to be Smokey, because it could be won or lost with him dropping to P7. That actually, is P7 enough for him? It's P7, I think, is enough. So let's go on board with Sav. Let's see what Sav and Cider can do, because this is going to be mental. Final lap. Sav versus Cider. Sav could have been in the chance for the championship, but he's gone up the inside to turn 3. He's made the move stick, but that's perfect for Cider as they look to go down the start-finish straight, to go down into turn 4. Surely this is exactly what Cider would have wanted, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think P2 is all he can go. Will he go to the inside for turn 4? He does. He's dived it up the inside, and he's positioned his car. He's tried to position his car in a great way. It was an all-or-nothing move. It could have ended in tears, but fair play to both of them. They held out very, very well. Sav's tried his best. It's not been enough. Sav is going to come home victor here tonight. And, well, we will talk about this, James, I'm certain, for ages to come. Cider versus Sav. But Sav's going to take victory in Australia as they come round the final corner. The winner for the final round is Sav. Choco's binned it, but this man is going to be champion. It's PSR Smokey. It's been through it all, but he is the champion of WOR. And wow, what a race. What did we see at the end? Because I wanted to say the champion speech.
Oh, honestly, that was tactically one of the best races I think I've seen. I think everything was thrown at that race. Skyver did not put a foot wrong until he got attacked by Sav on the final lap of the race. And that was... he honestly could have deserved the championship. Either of them could have deserved the championship from tonight. Axe just picks up the fastest lap of the race as well, just for the last. And Choco, by the way, did not finish. So Choco actually didn't finish. He retired actually coming through the final corner. So he didn't finish out on track. But Smokey absolutely delivered when it was absolutely needed. Fabian Tudi's tyres, if it wasn't for those going off, he could have been in a whole heap of trouble. Fabian Tudi, very aggressive in terms of their tyre strategy. Unfortunately, down, out of the race. Smokey takes fifth position, but this man here takes the race win, and of course it is Sav.
Wow, what a way to end the season. Austria has been absolutely insane. A little tactical to start with. Safety car caused an awful lot of confusion. Tom struggled with the game, maybe set him up to fail. And yeah, this is just one of those things. I just 100%, not 100%. Well, I say just 100%. I'm not 100% sure what's happened at all, to be perfectly honest. This race has been insane, though. And would you say Sav is a worthy winner?
I don't know. He's technically robbed the victory off Skyler. Skyler did not put a foot wrong, but Sav in the end manages ERS better on the final couple of laps. Skyler made one mistake on lap 35. And yeah, Sav, I think, tactically got it right. He went for the move exactly at the right moment. In the end, that got him the race win. Phenomenal drive from Skyler, though. He got robbed. He got potentially robbed in terms of the race win. But in the end, he drove absolutely brilliantly. But Sav out on top, Skyler there in second, Moulton there in third. We'll run through the full rest of the standings now as well, with as it just sort of come up hopefully on my end, and hopefully the 30-second countdown has not ended. But it's Kai, Smokey fourth and fifth, then Fabi in sixth, Tudi in seventh, Jensen in eighth. Jensen, by the way, 20th on the grid up to eighth, did a phenomenal job. Jack there in ninth and Kimber in 10th, with Lucas McGriff, Axe, Bourbon Boy, Choco, Expert Ullman, Tom, Quantum, Stunks, and Dara, the 20 drivers.
Well, that is insane. I'm not sure how to describe this one, but Smokey, very, very much the champion. He's going to be very relieved after that race, because it was to and froing continually through all that. Hopefully we'll get a driver or two to come in and speak to us, because it would be great, especially if we could get to speak to Smokey. But I know how busy these guys are, especially with challenges around the corner. Well, I say around the corner, they're happening now, aren't they? That's the other thing. But what a great drive. Smokey probably not at his best. So maybe a little bit of fine-tuning for him. But sometimes champions don't need to be at their best. They just have to find a way.
Yeah, and found a way. He exactly did. And he finished there in fifth position. It could have been, if buts and maybes and absolutes, I think, out on track. But Smokey deserved that championship win. I predicted he would win the championship as well, so I'm very glad to take the credit, I think, for that. He is not going to hate me, and he's not going to speak to me, I'm sure, after this as well. But he did a phenomenal job. Skyler there, as I say, didn't put a foot wrong, but in the end, there can only be one champion, and it is PSL Smokey. Absolutely deserved. And I really look forward to see how he's going to progress as a driver. And in fact, most of these guys, how they're going to progress as drivers going forward. Of course, there's the F1 Esports Challengers tier on Sundays as well. Evan Dalton going to be taking me through all the action. So that is the best of the PS guys, best of the Xbox guys racing in there. You get the first look, basically, even before Esports Challengers, of these guys around the tracks that they're doing in Challengers. And it remains to be seen what will happen. But Smokey absolutely deserved. He's got a really bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, he's been, like last season, there was occasions when he could really battle it away with Elite as well, or Otis Lawrence. That just says how good and how much of sheer pace he's got about him as well. But you know what? I feel that it is we're not going to get any drivers. So, James, I'm going to ask for final words from you, and your thoughts on this race.
Absolutely unbelievable. As I said in commentary there, I think it's one of the best races I've covered for console tier 1. It was phenomenal. It was tactical. It had everything. We didn't get any safety cars, believe it or not, in that race. The one thing that we wanted was safety cars. We got one safety car, and that's just a credit, I think, to every single driver out there. Deserved winner in Sav, did everything right in that race. Sky that would have been a worthy winner of the race, worthy winner of the championship. But then again, there can only be one champion. That man is Smokey.
That man is Smokey indeed. It's been one hell of a race here. It's been a hell of a season as well. I've thoroughly enjoyed every second of it, but it's all about this man, and that is PSR Smokey. He has done a phenomenal job. He is your champion here in WOR. He gets an incredible prize to go with it as well. What a prize. And that's the wonderful thing about WOR as a league. It's been absolutely... they've got some incredible... just footings through it all. And you know what? Smokey can take heart. The last few champions from Xbox Tier 1 and now Crossplay Tier, hopefully he can continue the Xbox Tier 1. They've gone on to challenge. They've been in challenges. They've been into the esports events. Maybe Smokey can follow suit as well. I want to take this small little bit at the end as well to thank not only... James for being in the commentary box for a few times this season as well. It's been absolutely incredible to have you alongside me for this, and hopefully we work together in the future. Thank you for your time filling in for Ryan. I want to thank Ryan as well. It's a shame he couldn't be here tonight, and I would have liked one last time to finish off with him, but he's been absolutely phenomenal alongside me for the past 2 seasons, and the rest of the every commentator throughout WOR, they do an amazing job week in, week out in their tiers. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, whatever they do, it is really quality stuff. And I'm just lucky enough to be tier 1, but I'm thankful for everyone just to Luke, Bourbon Boy, everyone in the commentary organisers. It's been fantastic, and here's to next season, because I'm sure, James, you'll agree with me, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, it's going to be even better, and you're not going to get rid of me that quickly. I can't say where I'm going to be next season in WOR, but I am going to be around, and that's all you need to know about my future plans for WOR.
And that's all that matters. James is going to be with WOR, and that is incredible. That is all we need to hear. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. It has been an incredible race. It's been an incredible season. But all good things must come to an end. And, well, Smokey is your champion, and that's all that we need to say. Well, you thought we were finished. No, we've got a little sneak bit at the end. We've got Smokey with us for a champion interview. And James, I'll let you start off with this one. Oh dear. Is this going to do what it does? Because... Right, let's try again. Gotta love Discord at times. Smokey, can you hear us this time? There we go. James, over to you again.
That was not easy. You were not at your best tonight.
Yeah, so firstly, qualifying, I got a bit blocked on my final lap, which wasn't ideal. I think I was probably going to go around P4, so I was a bit pissed off at the start, knowing that I could have been in a way better position. So all I have to do is defend to win. And then the start, it was a bit chaotic, just making sure I just stayed out of trouble. And then when the safety car came out, I was just told that all I have to do is get 3 positions and I win the championship. So I was just taking one person at a time, just to try and take one person at a time, so I make sure I stay concentrated and don't lose my head. So when I got past Lucas, okay, this is really winnable. And then when Choco spun at the end, I was like really just happy and that it's over, because it was such a stressful race. I really just wanted it to end as quick as
How do you think we felt in the commentary box? That was stressful, I think, for us, having to go through the permutations live on stream as well. There were so many opportunities, though, I think, in that race where it could have possibly went wrong. You had Fabi and Tudi ahead of you throughout that second half of the race. Were you as thrilled as I was in seeing that their tyres were beginning to drop off a little bit later on in the race?
Well, of course, if the tyres are dropping off and my tyres felt better than theirs, I always thought I had the advantage anyway, because I realised that Fabi was going to get past 2D, and then I just try and capitalise on the 2D slowing down when he gets overtaken by Fabi. So I knew if I try and get 2D straight away, then it's just try and get Fabi at turn 4 on the last lap, but it came a bit earlier through a Fabi mistake. So
yeah, and obviously with those mistakes in mind, you finishing P5, I think, was enough to win the title at the end of the day. Talk us through the season as well as a whole, because I think as a season, you haven't had it easy. I think there's only been a couple of times I think you've actually won the season. So talk us through what your thoughts are for the season and where the improvements are going to come going forward.
well, at the start I had my new rig, so I'm not using an excuse, but it took me quite a while to get up to fully pace, but it was just, I think the hardest part about this season was just staying consistently at the top, because with the grid so tight with like Rusty, Skiver and Wilson, it was like hard to stay at the top and trying to outscore them every race. Because like one race, if I got crashed one race, I was like, I've lost guaranteed probably 25 points to win the top 3. So it was just making sure that I was consistent every race, making sure I get at least top 7 every race, which happened most of the time, but just very happy in general just to get it over the line.
Yeah, and fantastic, I think, from your perspective. I mean, I've only done, 3 or 4 races this season, but you've been phenomenal in each of them. Congratulations on that championship win. Gareth, any questions? Any further to ask?
Yeah, Smokey, I mean, through the season, it wasn't like a foregone conclusion that you were going to win the title. It was obviously Rusty, Wilson, and Sider, all great drivers battling away with you. Did you ever doubt that you were winning this title, I guess is the best way to describe it?
Well, you always have those moments like China, where I got the qualifying ban. When you have those moments, you feel a bit in doubt that they are going to pick up massive points and I'm going to get stuck behind or get out of DRS. But I just take every race at each time just to make sure that I'm like, okay, I'll try and get first place, every possible result. And then I look at the championship after like every 5 races and think, okay, have I got enough to win? Which gladly I did, but it's just taking one race at a time, just focusing on each race and each lap.
And had Rusty been here through the whole season, because he'd missed a few times, do you think he would have been closer at the end? And do you think the story might have been, instead of you versus Sider and Wilson, you versus Rusty?
I don't really know, because the last couple of races that Rusty raced, it wasn't straightforward for him. He didn't like win every race, so I think Rusty would have been in there, but I don't know where he would have been.
Fair enough. And now, lastly, I suppose, what's next? What is next for Smokey? Is it, are we looking at a PC move, or are you looking at continuing an Xbox or crossplay? I mean, what do we next see from PSR Smokey?
I think I'm going to stay on Xbox till challenges, because I'm just turning 16 in November, so I'll be doing challenges on Xbox. Then probably after challenges, if I qualify, I probably then go to PC because my Fanatec just arrived today, so
Oh, wow.
I'm setting it up tomorrow. So let's see
Nice.
how that goes.
Nice. Good luck sweating on the Fanatec, I guess is the best way to describe it. But congratulations, Smokey. You're a worthy champion here in season 13 of WOR. You've had a fantastic season, and good luck for what the future might hold.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go, James. We are actually going to finish on that one. And I mean, he's a champion. He speaks like a champion as well, doesn't he?
He does. He does. He's got a really good frame of mind as well. Obviously, being on Xbox, I think moving forward for his aim for challenges with him turning 16, obviously, I think he's going to go really, really far. I think we're going to see next year, definitely 2024 will be the year of Smokey, and people should be afraid. People really should be afraid of him because he's going to just leap on the scene, and people have got to think, well, where's this guy come from? Well, he's season 14 champion in WR. That's where he's came from.
There we go. There we go. Right. Thank you so much. It's been a hell of a season. It's going to be even better. Just keep on checking the socials, I guess, is the best way for every sort of information coming out of WOR. But for myself and James, again, thank you so much for watching tonight. It's been fantastic. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes. Thank you for all the drivers. But for this season, good night.